everybody, thanks for following along on what can only be described as an amazing adventure. So before we pull into port tomorrow, I wanted to share with you some of the things I've learned along the way. So I figured we'd start down here in the bedroom. And the first thing I want to talk about is getting dressed. Well, when the ship's rocking and you're unstable and you don't have two hands, you're going to have to use your rump for support. That's right. You put your right rump against the wall, left leg in. Left rump against the wall, you got it. That's pretty much how it goes. As for these life jackets, they really are lifesavers, but not in the way you'd think. We actually use them to stuff under our bunks here as a railing, so when the ship is tilting, you don't fall out. And speaking of sleep, well, you won't. Unless, of course, you're Peter Gobb during the day, but hey, that's what they make coffee for. When it comes to walking, some people have got it.
Cowboys, when they get off their horses.
And some people don't.
So your feet are too close together and you keep going back and forth.
And if you're Christina Mojica, you kind of have that don't faze me sprint. So we're one ladder up now here in the galley. We've already talked about how they cook in rough weather conditions and how they keep that food fresh. But a lesson I've learned here is about these trays. They're actually a liability. Case in point, unless of course you're Steve Jevanovi and Jim Johnson.
That's what it sounds like.
And when it comes to life-saving, you can forget about those fancy orange jackets. I've learned that ginger chews are the real lifesavers here. Turns out the balloons on this ship are way cooler than the ones at birthday parties. Just ask our friend Cyril. And when it comes to the science, I've learned it best to, well, leave that to the scientists. Turns out they're pretty amazing at it. Just take a look.
All right, here we go. Sounds good. I have a kind of a mess of rope here. I thought this was a really good idea yesterday, but I feel like nothing really goes smoothly out here. Like, can't find the right wrench. See these really cool waves come by. Call them internal waves. They're waves under the you know, not like here on the surface. They're under the water. Well, this is a float, and what it does is it floats, but it also sends its position every hour to a satellite, so we know where it is. And kind of imagine it like you're going through the woods and you're dropping breadcrumbs, so you can see where you've been. So these ones were donated by NOAA. All right, here goes Drifter Nicole. Nice work.
This is a profiling float. It's just like the big balloons you throw in the atmosphere, except this one goes in the ocean.
All right.
Till it's done. You're gonna see it right itself, dive down, and then it's gonna come up and go down on a regular schedule. With a packet of sensors, it's gonna tell us what the ocean is doing. They can do up to over 300 profiles. So they go up and down to 1,000 meter or 2,000 meter, about 300 times. About 4,000 of those in the ocean now.
Really?
Yes, going up and down on average every 10 days.
We are putting in what we call the sea sweep, and it is goes in the water. We bubble air through it, capture all the freshly bursting bubbles in order to measure the freshly produced sea salt aerosol. We get to control the process.
Hey, everybody ready?
If it's too rough, it'll allow air in, and also if it's too windy, it actually produces its own aerosol, and then we don't get to control it.
Hey guys, here we go. On the bow, stand by, here we go. Okay, coming down, guys.
I only did the nozzles in my little sector, so.
Yeah.
Oh, I do that one. Jack, we're ready to go in with the CTD on your okay? Okay, Pete, slack and slip. A little more slack, and slack and slip, Alex. Zero the meter, please, then take it to 20. Roger, power. Okay, bridge, we're going to recover the CTD.
Okay, recover.
Surface. Hook it. Go ahead and hook it. I was going to let him try to get his first. Oh, oh. It's fine. Everything's good. Deck, the CTD is secure.
Okay, copy that.
Then you're moving to bottle 9, not 8, but 9.
I'm collecting water for nutrient measurements.
Have the shaker.
Something good in that bottle.
So this bottle, we're gonna pass it through the IFCB, which is a flow-through camera. It's taking thousands of pictures of phytoplankton in the water.
The satellite image looks good up there.
The high clouds that are sitting just east of the line.
I think we're a definite go for today.
Yeah, that was our hope.
Right, yeah, that's perfect.
That's like okay.
We are testing for CDOM over here. So we have octopus tubes coming out of all these bottles. And what we really want is this stuff.
What's that?
This is, well, it's filtered seawater, but we're trying to measure for color dissolved organic matter. It's basically yellow stuff. This way.
Yeah, these are samples that we have to keep cold so that they are preserved for when we get back to the lab to do analysis on. And if they don't stay cold, then they can change between now and then. We keep them organized. We have them numbered so we know how to access them later.
Brilliant. I'm ready.
Wow. We incubated surface water at 4 different light levels and then 2 other depths at their in situ light level. Right? What happened? There's less. Okay, we'll fix it then. Well, we deal with a lot of bottles that represent a bunch of different treatments, and so keeping track of what's what and what goes where and what comes back can be challenging.
Right now I'm measuring oxygen that has been collected from the CTD. Oxygen is a really good proxy for a lot of physical oceanography characteristics.
Should have done the other ones first.
You find that you don't have elbows in the place you need elbows. This is mostly sea salt at this point, because this is the large stuff. It's greater than 1 micron.
This is the Rad Man.
Rad Man.
Yeah, okay. Scientific. There's no light at all. We never got to see any light when we're in here. These keep us from tracking isotopes back out into the ship. So we measure 2 different types of activities in here. One is we measure how active the phytoplankton are, and the other is measuring how active the bacteria plankton are. We need to have the red light so that when we bring samples in, the samples don't get contaminated by bright light.
So it actually has a part of a car in here. This is a supercharger from a Mustang.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
Not being used in the normal way. We have a number of mass spectrometers. We're measuring gases in the atmosphere. You see out the window we've got this tubing and cables that go all the way to the mast on the front. In air through the tubing, and we're making measurements on the mast as well.
On top of this van, we have an inlet where we pull a large volume of air down, distribute it to a bunch of different instruments that measure the optical, physical, chemical properties of the aerosols. For the samples, most of them will get frozen and sent back to Seattle.
150 liters of air going through the Fritz making bubbles. Sometimes you can see them.
This is sampling from the sea sweep right now. See here that it looks like there are larger organic molecules than you would see, than they've been seeing all day. So it's really exciting to be able to see what's coming straight from the ocean. We're here to understand the clouds and the contribution. Our air masses bringing particles from higher altitudes, so they are coming from the stratosphere and being pushed down into the atmosphere often.
Sensation particle counter, and he measures particles, just counts them. Typically for like LA area, you might see a particle count around 3,000 to 4,000. Here in the North Atlantic, we are seeing 50, which is extremely clean. Most of us have never seen concentrations that clean.
We don't see any steam, and that's because the air here is really, really clean.
Even in the Arctic, the particle count of total aerosol would be maybe 5 to 10 times what we're seeing right here. So this is really extreme.
So this is what it's like to walk to the vans, those labs at the front of the ship during the day. You can see you go up a couple of ladders here. Whew. It's loud. And you go around the corner. Very close to the edge of the ship, but a pretty nice walk during the day.
Mackenzie and Nicole are going to the vans. Okay, thanks. All right. So there are 2 different ways to go to the vans, but this is the outside way, and it's warm tonight, so we can do that. And usually there's lights, but if there aren't, then we use the red lights when we go up so we don't distract the bridge. You just get used to it, but at first you're like, I'm not doing this. All right, and then this is the van. We always dog it because it gets pretty windy. And then we always do the red light at night in here.
Okay, let go of it. Let go of it.
Well, there's nothing holding it.
What?
Nothing is holding it.
Yeah. We're gonna put one. Yeah.
When you let it pick it out of your hand, there.
Go out there? All right. 3, 2, 1. Woo! No!
Here we go. Prepare abuse.
Now.
It's the updraft.
Into the heaven.
Woo!
Thank you, Cleo.
know what happened
We know when you got it.
The one thing I never had to guess at here, or it was never really an unknown, is that these scientists love what they do. The world is lucky that they love what they do, and I'm humbled and fortunate that they let me tag along for the ride. Thanks, guys. Good luck.
Everybody wave.